Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 9 of KnightTime. After a brief break, we are back to talk about the upsets in March and how our women's basketball team did in their tournament. Along with that, we have UCF baseball and softball. Stay tuned because KnightTime starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's episode of KnightTime. We've been gone for around 3 weeks now, so we're all super excited to be back in the studio. My name's Taylor Anderson, joined by my best co-host Camden Mowery. Camden, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. I'm so excited to be back after a couple weeks off. It feels so good to be back and in studio and in front of a camera. And we got Noah Kemper on today. How we doing, Noah?
Oh, always great to be back and talk about some more sports.
Awesome. We love having you on. You seem to love coming on and talking about Kansas. I don't know why. It's not like they're in the Final Four or anything.
Yeah, and we're going to get right into our basketball segment later on, and I know that Noah is super excited to talk about Kansas. I don't think he has Kansas winning the whole thing, though, but we're going to start off with some college baseball. After losing to FSU the week of the series, UCF did not make a strong comeback in their first 2 games against Samford. They lost in extra innings Friday night and 6-7 Saturday. Even though they jumped out early in their first loss, they fell behind in the second and never really gained footing with taking the lead. Sunday, though, they were able to fix whatever was going on. The game in run rule fashion, winning 11-1. Camden, what did you think about this game?
I mean, after the series against Ole Miss, this team has just not been the same, you know?
No.
I mean, they started out, 3-0, 4-0, and, you know, I thought, hey, this team might be something special, but their record is just subpar. They're barely above 500. I mean, they're playing good competition, I guess, but some of these losses that they're having, you know, UNC Greenboro, some of these other losses, it's just questionable losses that I don't understand. Noah, what are your takeaways from this baseball team right now?
I completely agree with all your points. The inconsistency is really the problem, where we've beaten some strong teams and then some questionable losses along the way. And I mean, that's not how you make a strong season. You gotta, consistently beat those teams that you should be beating. And so far, we haven't really seen that at UCF.
No, we didn't, and this past weekend, that series was not good. We really thought to take away a win with Samford and probably a sweep, and we ended up losing that series. But they did come away with a mid-week win Tuesday night, defeating FAU 13-1. A majority of those runs came in the second inning, where there were 9 runs off 6 hits. This set the tone for the rest of the night, continuing to score 3 more after an FAU solo home run. The pitching staff really held out strong this whole game, with Saxon, Crane, Cox, and Castellano allowing minimal hits and getting out of loaded base jams. Canna, what do you think about this win?
I mean, everything just went well for them against FAU. My dad went to FAU, so this one was extra special. I loved getting to see that win, tell him my baseball team was better than yours, even though I don't even think they had a baseball team when he was going there. But it felt good to get that win where everything goes right. You know, it's good to look at that and get a nice little sigh of relief, right, Noah?
I feel like this was UCF's they are just angry, and it just happened to be FAU to take just happened to be there and take the beating for it.
They were on the schedule. That was who was next.
Yeah, and Saturday after their loss, they had a players-only meeting to kind of get together whatever was going on, and we saw this on Tuesday against FAU. Obviously, they fixed the problem, but like we've been talking about, consistency is a very big issue, and we just need to see more of a constant in defense and offense, pitching staff, all of the above. But their next series matchup kicks off Friday here in Orlando against no other than USF. And if the tension is anything like softball series against them this past weekend for softball, I can't wait. What are you guys excited to see from this game?
I mean, the Twitter threads on this from the last week, I read a little bit of that. It is insane. USF fans are petty, and I know some people might not be able to say certain things about other teams, but USF fans, what are we doing? Come on, take a loss like a champ. I mean, just you lose, that's fine. I can't wait to watch what this series is going to come for USF, right, Noah?
I mean, this is by far one of my favorite rivalries, and I will definitely try to be in attendance because things are going to get heated this time around.
Yeah, and softball secured their first sweep ever over USF this past weekend in classic Warren I-4 fashion. Of course, this game brought up a lot of emotions and tension, which made these games, of course, fun to watch. Tallied up, they defeated USF 15-4 over the 3 games. A standout to me this series was, of course, Gianna Mancha, who was named AAC Pitcher of the Week for the 2nd straight time. At one point, she retired 13 batters in a row and also finished off with allowing 2 hits and 9 strikeouts. Who are some of the standouts to you, Camden?
I mean, come on. You're going to say that we outscored them 15-4? The pitching staff has been doing
And you're going to
insane.
get mad that you lost for that?
Right. The pitching staff has been doing great, especially the relievers that come in and put these games away. I mean, the pitching has just been great, and I love what I'm seeing. I know we're about to talk about the streak that they had, but I'm proud of the pitching staff. What about you, Noah?
I mean, absolutely. What was it, 3 games, 4 total runs? I mean, that's insane. Like, that is absolutely insane. I mean, USF, you can't be mad that you lost after that.
You only score 4 runs.
Yeah.
Do better. Yeah, and Tuesday night or Wednesday night, we don't really want to talk about it here, but they did lose 10-3 against Florida. They broke their 18-game-in-a-row streak. Offensively, nothing could happen. We got runners on base, but they were left stranded each time. Defensively, too, our pitching staff struggled against Florida's offense, and by the 3rd inning, it was like, come on, guys, we've got to get together, and no, we just kept struggling. Florida kept pedaling out the whole rest of the game. Obviously hurts my heart to see them lose to Florida, but Florida softball is good. SEC softball is very good. They have multiple teams in the top 20 right now. Camden, what do you think about this heartbreaker?
Well, when you came in this morning and said, do I have to make a highlight about that game? That game was rough, but Florida's ranked 7th. We know they're good. I believe when they played earlier, what was the score, 12-11?
In extra innings.
In extra innings. So you know that they could play them tough. Just last night, game got away from them, 2-0 in the 1st inning. I mean, not much. Got to stop the bleeding. I mean, they didn't. Florida got up and just couldn't hit their way back into that one. Right, Noah?
Yeah, I agree. It was, we got down fast, and it was difficult to try to get back up. But, hey, I guess Florida had to beat us in something because it certainly wasn't football or basketball.
Nope.
Ooh, yeah, I wanted to have another one of those beating Florida moments. But let's not take anything away from this 18-game win streak that the softball team had. That is impressive in any sport. And I mean, in baseball, what is that, 6 series in a row without losing? That is pretty good for their softball team.
Very good. I'm very proud of this team. I'm interested to see how they come back against Virginia Tech this upcoming series. But another women's team that we haven't talked about in a couple weeks, and we need to make all of the recognition known to them, the women's basketball team. Their historic tournament run did come to an end in the 2nd round, losing 47-52 against UConn. They finished with an overall 26-4 record, which is a program record, while also setting the record for fewest losses. There was a point in the game where UCF led by as many as 8 points and started the 2nd period with an 18-12 lead. The 3rd quarter was when it started getting more back and forth, while UConn was able to push their lead as many as 12. Even though it looked like they were pulling away, UCF was still able to show a fight with the help of no other than Smith, Kaba, Sanders, and Battles. Not the outcome, of course, anyone wanted, but they've now set a new standard for UCF basketball, men's and women's, and these girls showed out. They got so much recognition that we here at Hitting the Field saw way earlier in the season. Kind of sucks that it took the tournament for everyone else to realize and by the end of the year for everyone to realize. But if you just look at the recognition and award sheet that these girls were able to come out with the end of the season, nothing but kudos to them. I'm so proud of this team. Camden, what do you think?
Well, I think you said it best right there. Where is the love for our UCF women's basketball team? We finally got it there in the last couple weeks of the year. The losses that hurt the most are the ones where you know you could win. Not the blowouts, but the games where you feel like you got a real shot. UConn, everyone knows UConn's women's team is great. When you got a lead, you got a chance to win this game, and they come out, and I believe they only scored 5 points in the 2nd quarter. It was just, they had a chance to win it, and even at the end there, they had a chance to come back. Me and my roommate were watching on the couch, really into it, but it's unfortunate, but it should not take anything away from the way that this team has played all year, right, Noah?
I mean, this team played absolutely amazing all year, and the fact that they didn't get ranked until the last, week or 2 of the season was absolutely insane. And, that UConn-UCF game, that was back and forth, and it kind of gave me a small flashback of the UCF-Duke game. Like, these ladies were fighting hard and just, they came up so close.
It was a tough loss, but let's point out, only gave up 52 points to UConn.
Exactly.
That defense is nothing to joke about.
Stout.
But we knew that. We knew that from the last couple months of the year. This defense is smothering, and they again showed it, and I believe they got some respect from everyone out there.
I want to give some senior shout outs because there are a few on this team that were standouts. And a senior I want to shout out has to go to Tay Sanders. Obviously, her name helps a little bit, but she was phenomenal all season, and the fifth year had 10 points in their game against UConn. She's a part of the third-team all-conference team and won many awards from the AAC this past year. Her game high was 23 points, and she was a key component in this team's fight all year long. Sad to see her probably go, but Camden, who's yours?
I mean, so many great players on this team. I'm going to go with Masini Kaba. I love watching her play all year. I feel like that impact was great for this team. I mean, there's a lot of these players that we could have chose from, but it's unfortunate that some of them are going to be gone. Hopefully next year they're able to get, some of that momentum back, and they're still able to be a good program in this country, right, Noah?
I absolutely agree, and the player that I chose has to be my girl Brittany Smith, as she was just electric off the bench, averaging 10.8 points a game, 6 rebounds, shooting 53% from the field. She was that spark that they needed off the bench, and she delivered game in and game out. And I've been talking about her throughout, the whole year, and excellent performance.
Well, I'll tell you, Alex opened up her eyes to me, or opened my eyes to her. Brit Buckets is what I think he called her one time. When she's a bucket, she can get a bucket, and she did.
All right. And I know we're talking about momentum for this team going forward for next season, but we have to talk about it really quick. Coach Abe is now a Georgia Bulldog. I fully thought she was staying and was completely caught off guard when it was announced she was leaving. It really hurts because I see this team doing so well next year if she stayed, but I think she's set a great standard. There's no hurt feelings. Camden, Noah, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, building a tradition with this coach, it would have been fun. Noah, real quick, what are your thoughts about her leaving?
I mean, it's really disappointing. She led this team to just a great future possibility, a great build-up, and it'll be sad to see her go.
Yeah, so best of luck to Coach Abe at Georgia. We do have a really good standard set right now, and we are keeping the momentum going for women's basketball next season, no matter what. Next segment, we are going to get on to some college basketball overall, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It keeps coming back. We're gonna need to go away. Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
Now the Buccaneers are gonna play the Washington football team today.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing that, I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know Taylor Swift.
Nitro's a dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is Nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
All right, welcome back to segment 2 of Nighttime. That's going to be the last time that we get to talk about UCF women's basketball for probably some time. Luckily, though, we still have some tourney time to get into. Brackets are busted all over the place. But when you look at the Final Four teams, you're like, okay, that's pretty
Makes
predictable.
sense.
But, you go through it and you're like, huh? What are some of these teams that won these games? I'll tell you, I did terrible. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, my bracket was busted. First game off the bat, done. Noah, is yours looking promising at all for the Final Four?
Mine was absolutely busted day one. Not all the duct tape in the world could fix that bracket.
Now, let's point it out, though. Noah, when you says my bracket, which one are you talking about? Because I think you went in our chat and said, one of my 26 brackets are still perfect after the first 4 games. And we're like, huh? How do you have that much time to fill out 26 brackets? Like, what? What are you talking about? Which bracket? What you got Kansas winning, I'm going to guess, right?
I'm sure at least a few of those 35 had Kansas winning.
Let's just keep raising that number up. So out of the 40, we got Kansas in the Final Four. I can't wait to get into it. Taylor, my bracket ended first night with Kentucky losing. It was not good.
Mine ended with Michigan winning, so that was awesome. But it is March, so of course we have some crazy games that take place, and we're going to try our best to get to all of them. I want to talk about each of our most surprising teams. So my most surprising team this year is, of course, going to go to St. Peter's. They were able to make history in a very tough tournament schedule. They embodied exactly what March Madness is all about. The reason they got as far as they did was because of their relentless defense and persistent offense. We saw them as a 15 seed defeat Kentucky and Purdue, teams that multiple of us here in Hitting the Field had in their Final Four. Their run did come to an end against UNC, which we'll get to, but you can't take away the fact that this 15 seed made it to the Elite Eight. Peacocks, good job. Love you guys. You exactly did what March Madness is all about, and it was so fun to watch. Sad to see it end. But Camden, who's yours?
Well, I do want to say great for St. Peter's. First team ever in the Elite Eight, and while they did beat my Kentucky, who I had winning it all, I don't know why. I figured they'd get the job done. They absolutely did not. You did mention Michigan, who did play very well, but my surprising team is still in it. I'm going North Carolina, Tyler Caron's favorite team, and we got some big battles coming up with North Carolina versus Duke. I think just when you look at North Carolina, right, they looked a little sloppy against Syracuse in a game right towards the end of the year. They played in their ACC tournament game. And then you look, round 2, they got to play Baylor. That looks like an interesting game because Baylor was called the worst 1 seed out of all 4 of them, and they did not disappoint. They almost blew that lead, but North Carolina still in the Final Four. I'm going with the Tar Heels as my most surprising team. What about you, Noah?
My most surprising team was the Miami Hurricanes. This really shocks me that they made the Elite Eight, and they came into the season, had a few questionable losses to Dayton and UCF, and they really, I don't want to say underperformed throughout the season, but they weren't on many people's radars coming into this season, and I think that's what shocked everyone as all the players started to click in the tournament. Cameron McGusty averaging almost 20 points a game in the throughout the postseason, and so it was really shocking to see them really turn it on.
Well, I do want to say, Miami was at the top of the ACC, I believe, in like mid-December. So it wasn't crazy that happened, but they kind of fell off towards the end of the year, but then picked it back up. So good for Miami, and I know they lost to your team.
So when it comes with surprising teams, you're going to have disappointing teams that come along the way. And my disappointment goes to the number 2 seeded team out in the first round, the Kentucky Wildcats. I love to see top seeded teams go out early, and it even made it better that it was St. Peter's who gave them the loss. But you can't do that. They had a pretty considerable advantage when it came to talent and depth, but still got outshone by no other than the Peacocks. Ty Washington did miss a potential game-winning jumper, which sent the game into OT, but you can't put that all on one player. So Camden, I know you had Kentucky going pretty far, but they are my biggest disappointment out of this season.
I was getting laughed in my face in that game, watching that game with a straight face. Now, I love top seeds going down too, but why did it have to be Kentucky, man? Day one of the first couple of days, I was like, ugh. That is not my most disappointing team, though. I'd like to choose the entire Big Ten. Is that an option at all?
Go for it.
I know Noah wants to talk about Iowa, so I'll leave them out of it. But let's just look at this. All right, Ohio State, round 2. They were playing like a 4 seed earlier in the year. That's disappointing. Purdue, Sweet 16. Come on. Why do we keep showing up short? Michigan State, round 2. I mean, they did have to play Duke, so that's whatever. I'm missing one. Wisconsin, round 2. Like, what is going on? I don't know what I'm doing picking the Big Ten. I'm talking all this Big Ten basketball. I love Big Ten basketball. And then they come out here and they just lay turds all over the place. Like, what? Why am I still picking Big Ten teams to do good? Oh, yes, I forgot my other final team, Illinois. They lost as well. Like, I literally could not catch a break with any Big Ten teams. I picked them going. I basically had 4 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. I was so disappointed with the Big Ten. What about you, Noah?
All right, I'll just round out the Big Ten for you and finish off with Iowa. Really, Iowa losing to Richmond, the Spiders? This team looked so hot ending the year. They won the Big Ten, and unfortunately, I was one of those people that jumped on the hype train. And Iowa, you let me down because I was so wrong about you. I said they were winning the whole thing, and once again, that clearly did not happen.
It's March.
Yeah, we should have listened to Alex Funderburg. He said that Richmond Spiders, they will take round 1.
He
did not listen.
He did. So another historic March game happened when Arkansas beat number 1 seed Gonzaga. Gonzaga had a dominant season, but their spark died out in the tournament. They weren't their best against Georgia State or Memphis, and they slipped up and played poorly against Arkansas, losing 74-68. My mom made sure that I had to talk about this game because she's from Arkansas, and when they played Gonzaga, you would have thought that she still lived in Arkansas and knew everything about college basketball. She was that excited. So this game was definitely March Madness classic. What do you think about it, Camden?
Well, I think, this is definitely a less popular option, but after everyone's bracket gets busted, you're able to fill out a top 16, the Sweet 16 for second chance. I had Gonzaga going all the way. I believe they were the first or second game losing, and I was just like, all right, this is fun. I'm not good at this picking thing. So Gonzaga, they never seem to get the job done. I don't know what it is with Gonzaga. Always playing really good basketball, but they just can't seem to win it all. And I don't know. It's great that it's March, but I don't know what to say about Gonzaga. Noah, what about you?
I honestly wasn't too shocked by the final outcome because Gonzaga honestly struggled throughout the tournament. I mean, they struggled to pull away from Georgia State. I took them over half of a game to do that. They struggled against Memphis, escaping with a 3-point victory. So the fact that, they weren't able to mount the comeback against Arkansas, I wasn't too surprised because they showed signs of struggling throughout the whole tournament.
They did. They really did. But moving on to our next game, the game that got St. Peter's to the Elite Eight was when they defeated Purdue 67-64. This was my favorite. They ended the game going on a 15-8 scoring run, which helped them secure the win. Banks' 14 points led St. Peter's, but it was their free throws that helped them when the game was on the line. They pretty much sucked the life out of Purdue from start. Even with their size mismatch advantage, Purdue also only shot 24% from deep and had 15 turnovers, and you just can't do that in this type of tournament. What did you think about this game, Camden?
The Peacocks had the recipe to win that game. Jaden Ivey played okay. Zach Edey, they kind of kept him in check. Travion Williams kept him in check. He got a couple buckets going, but watching Zach Edey on the bench every single time St. Peter's scored a bucket, it was like, man, they should probably bring this guy in. But Travion Williams had the hot hand, so I'm not going to go against that coaching decision. Just St. Peter's, towards the end of that game, they played like the better team. It's not like that was luck. It seemed like they actually were playing like the better team. So
they were saying they're not even a Cinderella team because they were living up to everything.
Yeah, they beat Kentucky. It wasn't like they won on buzzer beaters. They beat Kentucky. Yep. They beat Purdue. They deserve everything. They beat Murray State, who had won 20 games in a row. So hats off to the Peacocks with a great dance for them. What about you, Noah?
I completely agree. The Peacocks, dare I say, America's team, really had a great run, in the tournament. And in the Purdue game, they did what they needed to do, held Purdue to almost 40% shooting. Like Taylor mentioned, 19 of 21 for free throws. They hit their shots when they needed to, and they did what they needed to do to win the game. They didn't look flustered. They went out there, towards the end of the game, they went on that scoring run, and they did what they needed to do to win that game.
They did. Sadly, we're hyping them up, but the Peacocks dance did come to an end, losing 69-49 against UNC in the Elite Eight. This was the third largest loss in the regional final since 2000. UNC jumped up with the early lead and kept gassing them the whole way through. UNC had a comfortable win by dominating in the paint, and 26 of their final 69 points came from layups. Kyler Cameron, I can't believe that UNC beat my Peacocks. But Camden, what do you think about this game?
All right, real quickly, I'll give my thoughts here. North Carolina, they played like the better team. St. Peter's ran out of gas towards the end, which you see with a lot of lower seeds. So really wasn't a shock to see the Tar Heels pull away from this one. The magic ended, but it was a great run, wasn't it, Noah?
It was. All great things come to an end, and unfortunately, that was their last gas. So
it was. And we are going to get into our Final Four in the next segment. So thank you guys for tuning into this segment. Noah is going to come back and join us for our pretty much kind of last primetime picks before we get to the final matchup. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm going with Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
God.
gosh.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL
my
is
God.
gonna. The NFL is gonna make it happen.
Hey guys, welcome back to this next segment of KnightTime. It kind of is a special edition of Primetime Picks because we're going to be talking our final 4 picks. Camden has told me that he's going to go against everything I say, which I'm winning, so I don't know how that's really going to work out in your favor. But we'll see how the end of this all turns out. We're going to start off with one of the biggest rivalries in college basketball. They will face off again in the Final Four. In the battle between UNC and Duke, I'm going to take Duke. This game is going to come down to simply making shots, and Duke does that better. Duke also lost in their first matchup, so even better odds of them coming out on top for this one. Duke is going to have to be relentless with shooting and also at the free throw line. So Camden, I'm going to guess you're going with UNC on this one?
All right, so I'm down by 2 in Primetime Picks as the standings show, which means there are 3 games left. I have to pick against you on every single game, but that is okay because we're in the Final Four, which means these games will be close. Now, Duke and UNC already played twice. Duke blew them out the first time. North Carolina won by 10 plus the second time. I am going to go with UNC, and I confidently believe in that pick, right, everyone? Yeah. I'm going to go with UNC because I like the way that they're playing better. They beat Baylor, and they looked like the better team against them. They beat St. Peter's. That means a lot. So I don't really know. I'm going with North Carolina. I just think that, I've watched all their games in the tournament. They look good. So I don't see it as unlikely happening. It can happen. I don't think it will, but I'm going to go with North Carolina. What about you, Noah?
I also am going with North Carolina.
Huh?
Yes, I am going with the Tar Heels because I have seen all their games, this tournament run, and they have looked dominant, throughout all their games. And so I think the Tar Heels, if they can, hit their transition buckets, can hit their free throws, because I honestly think it's going to come down to the free throws. I think this is going to be within a 5-point game at the final buzzer. And I really think the Tar Heels can pull out this upset.
No, that has to be an April Fool's joke.
Thank you.
There is no shot.
Someone's on my side. Let's go.
Okay, Camden at least has a reason to pick UNC. I don't know about that, Noah. I do think, however, it will be a close matchup. It is the Final Four, but I do see Duke coming out on top. But for our next Final Four matchup, it comes down to Kansas and Villanova. I'm going to take Kansas due to the fact that Villanova won't have Justin Moore. He's out with a torn Achilles that he suffered against Houston, and he's irreplaceable on this team. Even though Nova is good at handling bigger teams, Kansas is just better with rebounding and defending the 3-point, which will show an up and kill Villanova. And I know, Noah, you really want to talk about your Kansas team. Go ahead.
In my opinion, Kansas and Villanova are the 2 best teams left in the bracket. So this game really is going to, come down to the wire. And I do give Nova, their props. Their coaching staff has been amazing, again, dealing with, Moore's injuries. So the fact that they've been able to kind of, they've done a great coaching job, but I still got to go with my Kansas Jayhawks. I've been talking about them all year. Why would I pick against them now? Ochai Agbaji, as always, has looked amazing. And again, we look more into the bench now, and players like Martin are starting to step up. So this team is starting to look complete. And when's a better time to look complete than the Final Four? So I got Kansas winning, and I'm gonna give them the win by 3. I think it'll be a close game.
All right, I'm going with Villanova to win it all. Taylor, take it away.
I'm so sorry, Camden, that you're probably going to go down 2 more. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this kind of March Madness special of KnightTime. Thank you, Noah, for coming on and talking some basketball with us. Camden, as always, great to have you as my co-host. Make sure you guys tune in next week where we kind of recap our Final Four and have big championship talk. Thank you so much for watching. Go Knights, charge on. See you next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay?